Hello all. So today we're talking about how do you print those expiring items. So this is a continuation of the last video where we talked about how you set expiration date. And if you haven't watched it, I would highly encourage you to take pause here. Somewhere here you'll see an icon of referring to that previous video. Go there and watch it so that it makes sense. There's nothing much we're going to do on this video. We'll be creating a report and we'll be displaying that output. And then in the next video, we'll try to do something with that report. Hello all, this is Soren signing in, and let's get into it. So just a quick recap of what we did last time is we did set up quite a category codes and all, and then we did some transactions, which then created some item ledger entries, and those entries have two field set, the expiration date and the lot number. Now, if you think from a business standpoint, uh, it's a lot number. I might have to add it, but there is a lot more. Just believe me on that. So if you look at from a business perspective of business which deals with items where there's an expiration date, you surely would like to know at a certain interval of time that what's going to expire, let's say in next 10 days, what's going to expire in next 5 days, and in what location that it is, and other details about it, right? How many quantities are there? So that we can kind of target on those items or talk to a vendor about returning those items. So for that, what's better than having a report? And there are other ways to do it, but if time permits, maybe we'll look at it in a while because I just thought about something. But let's continue about our discussion about creating a report on. So the data is stored in item ledger entries. Let me open my Visual Studio Code and we'll start building that. So yeah, these are Visual Studio Code. And let's go to the code. So I already have the expiring item and the report folder here. Let's use the ACA tool and then a new report. The report will be named the edge, the items, and entries. This is tagged in every feature of the report and analysis. Now, what kind of fields we need? Let's think about it. The item number, that's very important, I think. Uh, Expiration date, again, very important. Location code, that will tell me from where I need to uh, look at my inventory from, how much quantity I have. And then one more field is remaining quantity. If you don't know about it, let me know. We'll talk about it. And then maybe lot numbers, because that's how you try items. Yeah. And I hope that should give us everything. Let's do the finish. We have a rough layout of the report. So small. We just follow what's needed here every time. Not very good. Okay. All right. So now we know that these are the fields that I do. Now let's come to back to that question about quantity and limited quantity. So what happens is when there is a inbound transaction that happens, all these are inbound transactions that we created. And when I say inbound, where inventory is coming in, it's purchase or uh, production, and so on and so forth. So these create item ledger entries. Every transaction create item ledger entry, but if these items, whatever the quantity of that particular transaction gets into quantity. And then if you try to do outbound entries, right? If you would like to sell in this case, then and you don't sell the whole quantity, then the value that changes is short and quantity. And let's give it a try. for each definition, if we do a same or writing how to that. So let's try that so that we have some data to look at, right? Let's go right together. Okay, and let's do the same here. Let's try it like number same. Good. Location. I'm confused now. What is that location? Let's choose east. And then quantity is 2. Okay. Then because it is the item lot track, I need to go to item tracking line and get my lots. What I can do, I can take of the lots that are available. So in lot number 5, there is 5 quantity available. Available quantities, I'll take this one and click OK. So from lot number 5, I've said that it will be sold and I'll do a post of this entry. That get posted. Let's get back here. Let's also write the entries. What we'll see is that there is a new entry created, and you'll notice that this entry is opened as false, which means there's nothing left on this particular ledger entry. This has been adjusted. Now, if you look at it from applied entities, what has been applied against this, you'll notice that there is a purchase entry which is applied against it for location east, against which this inventory has been reduced. But you don't have to worry about it. Let's focus on these inbound transactions. What you'll notice here now that the quantity for this line is 4, but the remaining quantity is 2 because 2 has been knocked off against this outbound transaction. Other lots have the full quantity available. Now, why we took this detour to explain you what and why we will be filtering the data item ledger entry for. So the first thing that we will filter is data item, which you will do with the data item is new property that I would like to shorten is item number, and then the order will be, let's say, ascending, and then where here I'll specify the condition that the first thing that we learn is where open is true, right? If it is not open, then we don't want that because that's already closed. Either it's an inbound transaction for which all the inventory has been consumed, so there's nothing left that's going to expire. And if it is an inbound outbound transaction which has been open false, obviously, then I don't want to consider that in my report. So that will help me to filter out those quantities. Now, what we want to do next is do a request filter field and let the user to filter on item number. This will generate that uh, filter option in the request page for the Z item. Now, that looks good. Now, as I said earlier, that we want uh, users to have an option to say what's getting expired, let's say in next 10 days. So let's use the request page for it. And we will put it as maybe as filters. And inside that, we'll add a field. User snippet, as the page field. Okay. And we say expiration, expiring till, okay, expiring till, and we'll use a date formula for till expiration date formula. The user will be able to say number of days, number of weeks, number of months, and then we utilize that info to calculate the expiration date. Let's define that formula. and the application where it is all. I guess that's sufficient at this point. And we need to have a tooltip. So let's do that. Tip, data, and that's the tooltip. And then it doesn't look good without it actually. So let's do the expiring in as caption. So after how many days it's expiring, user will be able to keep that formula, which then will utilize to reduce the number of records that I want in the report. But the date, the expiration date is a date field. So once user fills in this expiration date formula, what I can do is on the on pre-report kind of thing. Let's try to add a trigger. That's the first trigger that's get called once the once your request page execution is completed. Now what I want to do here, I want to calculate a expiration date that user is looking at. So let's define a date. So expiration date, that will be a start date. And then this expiration date will be calculated here using the formula of calculate, mm, which requires two parameters. One is a date expression, which comes from here, the formula. And then the second thing is the date. So date is I would like to calculate it based on the work date of the system. But what if user did not set this up, right? So I need to do a make sure that this is not empty or this is not blank. Now there's so many questions about it that how you validate to the date formula. How you do it is you define a empty date formula, okay, which is not assigned to any value. But this then helps you in comparing that if my expiration date formula is not equal to blank or empty, then and only then my expiration date calculation. Now this generates a max expiration date that user is looking at. Now I need to filter out my record set of item ledger entry based on that. So before the report actually starts getting record or the data item start getting record, I can do a trigger of on pre-data item here, if I'm not wrong, and then say that if my expiration that the expiration date, oh, till expiration date. If my till expiration date is not equal to blank, zero D, zero D notifies the blank date as well, right? I'll say my data item entry get filtered. Okay, the till expiration date from a particular date to the map date. So I want only item ledger entry when the expiration date fall between these two criteria. What are those two criteria? It starts from one date and then it ends at the till expiration, whatever my calculation is. So it will limit the number of records that will come from item ledger entry into this data set. Just only these records which are going to expire today and let's say next 5 days or next 30 days, whatever that calculation is. This way, I'll be able to limit the number of records that's coming in. But maybe I would also, yeah, that's how it is, I guess. Now let's do this. Let's try to build a layout for it. So how you do that? You set up a property. So this default for layout, which is your RDLC, and then RDLC layout file is equal to. This is very important, crucial. You need to make sure that your path is in the right way. Let me rename this so that I can copy this. Go to the exact folder and type that. I'm going into my report folder and then I'm doing the SDH expiry item dot RDLC without spaces for sure. All right. Now, as soon as I do a build, which is Control Shift B, B as Bombay, you'll notice that there is one new file added, which have this data set available in that file. RDLC. And let's do Control Shift B, and the layout file is generated. And it will be generated in the path that you specify here. Now, I'm not going to be very creative on this layout. This is just for the demo purpose, to be very fair. So what we'll do is, as you open that file into your report builders, you just drag it here. That goes out of the screen for some reason. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create simply with the wizard. Just save file. Simple wizard, data set, and I'll drag all these fields here. Okay. This will give me a flat out report like this. But the only problem is when you use wizard, it kind of uses crazy fonts and all. What I'll have to do is I'll have to remove those background colors and fonts, kind of look it consistent. Okay. And then background, can use other things, but that is a part of, I guess. Background. Okay. All good. Not everything is right aligned. The only thing that kind of goes right aligned in a nav or a business board are the date and the numeric values. Okay. Not even date, I guess. Only the numeric values because they'll go that way. Remember, whenever there is a date column that's coming up, you should make sure that you go into properties of that report and check the number to of that date. Whenever there's a numeric field, you should again go back to the Xbox properties and in the exact property. Add that surveillance. But there is a property which in the number, you need to do a formatting. And the formatting actually happens from that field. Business Central automatically emits these format, which kind of gives you the format that is set in Business Central. So you don't have to worry about it, what kind of formatting you want to set. You just use whatever the default Business Central is giving you. So this gives this. So that's why for every numeric field, you will always get a formatting option there. Okay, that all looks good. I guess we are good to go. But what about user knowing the what are the filters? Because you can't go back at that point and do that, right? So let's do a header here. And we have to give some values, pass some values. So let's save it. Okay. And pass this date back to user on the screen. What I'll do for that, I'll add a column, call this, and close this. Okay. Now we'll also need a caption. So for that, if not wrong, I can do a labels. It will be label in label. The value will be is it equals to, I'm always confused about it. Let's value in. The beauty of label is it doesn't increase the size of your data set, and because it does not increase the size of your data set, your the code is faster. Anytime you make changes on your data set, you always have to do a control shift P as boundary. So the new changes, which is this field and disable, cannot become parts of my RDLC. So it updates it. It doesn't um, override whatever changes that we have done in the past. So you'll notice that the report still looks as it is, but in the data set, now you also see the tail expansion data. What I'll do is I'll add that here, done, and then I'll also do the formatting of it. This is the date value. So I'll have to format it, and you can also do it from here. And then there's a caption attached to it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into labels. Expiring label. I can just place it here and do it this right formatting so that it looks good. And there is a slight amount of space between these two lines so that it doesn't overlapping each other. Okay, all looks good, I guess, at this point. Let me see. This is, let's say, 9. This is, sorry, this is 9. This actually is 8. Okay. And then that remains as, let it be 11. All right, let's save it. And without wasting further time, let's try to publish this into our TS environment here. We publish, and before we do that, let me go into log.json and change it to report so that it directly runs the report. We publish, which will bring it here. Once we have the report, which is running the way as expected, in the next video we'll do one more thing on this, which is the final intention of the person who wants a question. What I need to check is what is my date. It's 410 set. If I come back here, okay, the items are expiring in 12, 11, and 4. So let me change my work date on this window. Expiring items, the code is running, but I'll just change the date from 410 going back to, let's say, 4 3. And I'll do a week cloud so that we can see it. Okay. Let's search for that report. Okay. Get added into the menu. Yes, so let me just check. Yes, we have the uses category set, we have the application area set, and it should be able to find the expiring item that you had. Hmm. Something is not correct here. What is that? What am I missing? I think we have the application set, we have the users category set, the report instance, application area. Okay, let me search now. Yeah. Okay. Management, that extension kind of installed or not? It should be, but just to check. That's that. Instead of trying that, it is not finding that. But let me publish it here. If you know what I'm missing, let me know. Because I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. I have properties that are in the application area, users category. It does start it from there. Now, if I say that I want to check anything that's, and let me check the dates, that's important. 410. If I say anything that expiring in 1 day and no filter applied, anything that expires from today based on the work date and one more day, that should be displayed here in the output, which is what I do. Now let me zoom this in so that we all can see. It says expiring in or on 4/11/2023, and the item that's been getting expired on location name quantity 5 with remaining quantity 5 on lot number 2 is going to expire before that date. And let me zoom this out. The item number, expiration date went way towards, right? So I need to fix that on my report. But you get an idea that as many items you will have there, it will be able to generate that output so that you can utilize that info to make better business decisions once you know that, oh, these items are expiring and I need to do something about it. Okay, anything else? Oh, now I have the expiring items. So let me switch the dates now because that'll make more sense. And now I'll change it to, let's do the maths. 70, and I guess we have this, so 10D will be sufficient. Okay, expiring item, and let's do 10 days. Anything that's expiring in the next 10 days. So here is a report of all the items that's being expiring in next 10 days, and you can see the date when and which one is expiring and how much quantity of them is left. So this report can help you to make better decisions if you are dealing with expiring items or items with expiration calculation. Stay connected. In the next video, we'll talk about, or let me try one more thing. I guess we are good with the time right now. I don't know how long it is, but let's go and let's try one more thing. You might have already seen a video on my YouTube channel about it. Or okay, let's see. Item eligibility is a page where the data is coming from. What about if I go into analyze mode and utilize and save my time rather than going into uh, doing crazy stuff or building reports and all? Because we need to start thinking about these creative solutions. So let's see. I'll remove everything. Okay, that's what I've learned. And now what I want is item number. That's what we needed. So let's bring that item number into here. Okay. Inside that item number, I also want the expiration date. That's one of the column. Okay. One is expiring. Who is expiring one? And maybe it's a flat file. Maybe it doesn't matter what I place it. So let me write it here. And can I do that? That's me. Okay, I can. So I have item number, expiration date, and then I need location code. So let me just do the location code also addition here. And then I needed quantity. Let's do a quantity. And let's also do a remaining quantity. Okay. But now you see a lot of info and lot number. So that is a lot number. Oh, it's not on the page. We just need to add that in the page. But just FYI, just to give you an. The other thing that we applied is a filter on type open. So let's come here and do a filter on field called open, where open is yes. So the data automatically gets shrinked, right? The next thing that we did is we wanted it per to a particular date. So I can do here. Okay, expiration date or expiration date by month is the option. So I can say what is expiring in January? Nothing. What is expiring in February? Nothing. March? Nothing. April. So yeah, it cannot uh, give you the Aprilish or that view where you can change, but without wasting all that time. If you just want that info to be visible, you can just utilize this and analyze feature in the center and see all the quantities that makes sense to you. So now I know at this point, somewhere in April, all these quantities are expiring and this much is remaining on this location and also on that lot if needed. So maybe whatever I've showed you till now was of no use, to be very fair. And maybe I can also utilize show you one more thing that I can use here. I can do month. Let me use that. Okay. And can I apply filter? Mm, Expiration date is greater than hmm, is not equal to mm, like or is greater than. It's always greater than. That will work. But okay, let me try something else. Oh, there's an option. Expiration date is not blank. Now I see that only the items where there's an expiration date are visible. And then you can actually go into the columns and open the pivot mode and oh, it lost everything. Okay. But there are ways that you can achieve that also. And then if this info makes sense, you can always kind of export this out as Excel and then send it to the respective parties. And it is a saved view. So I can actually name this view as expiring items. So anytime I want to look at it, I can just come here and see what's being expired at what location, with what lot, and all. So you have seen both options. If you are old school who would like to build a report, that we have covered. If you would like to, focus on what's coming new, which is the analyze mode, you can use the analyze mode and save all the time and effort that's needed to maintain that report altogether. Hope that makes sense. And I hope you learned something new today. If you did, please do share this video with your friends and on social media. If you are new to this channel and ended up somehow landed to this channel and you like the content, do please subscribe to the channel. We'll keep coming up on videos of these kind of topics as we go forward. And if you have any questions either about this video or anything that you want me to cover, just drop a comment in any of the video and I'll make sure that if I know that topic, I'll surely cover that. Otherwise, I'll learn it. This is Shah signing out, and I'll see you next day.